So, Alice, did you hear about the new restaurant that just opened up on the third moon of Jupiter?
No, I haven't. What kind of food do they serve?
Mostly seafood. I've been meaning to check it out. But with all the work we have to do on the ship, I don't have much free
Can
time.
everyone please be quiet for a moment?
Good morning, everyone. We are back with another episode of Earth, broadcasting live from our spaceship in geostationary orbit around the planet.
Great, another day in space.
Wait, how did we get here? I thought we were transporting supply to the intergalactic relay station.
Yeah. And why are we scattered throughout the ship?
Don't worry, everyone. The teleporter malfunctioned, but we'll figure out how to fix it and get back to our normal routine soon enough.
And now for our headlines.
And that's all for now. Stay tuned for more news and discussions on Earth. Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of 24/7 Newsroom. I am Charlie, joined as always by Bob and Alice. How's everyone feeling today?
I'm feeling great, Charlie. Especially after that
Shut
new
up,
gravity workout
Debbie.
this morning.
Nobody asked you, Debbie. Can't complain, Charlie. Another day in space. Another day getting paid to give our opinions on the news. Life is good.
I'm doing fine, Charlie. Although, I must admit, I'm a bit troubled by this news article we have to cover today.
What's the story?
It's from Suriname, and it's about indigenous people protesting the government's disregard for their land rights.
Oh boy. Sounds like another political hot potato. What's the issue exactly?
The government is favoring economic interest over indigenous rights. The traditional authority of indigenous leaders is also weakening over time. The indigenous community is seeking international assistance to resolve the issue once and for all.
That's a tough one. What's the business community saying about it?
They're concerned about the fate of businesses operating in areas that turn out to be within indigenous territory.
Well, you can't please everyone, I suppose.
It's not about pleasing everyone, Bob. It's about respecting the right of indigenous people and ensuring their development.
I think we can all agree that indigenous rights are important. But let's be real, it's a complicated issue. And speaking of complications, I think we have an interesting development here on the ship.
What
I'm
are
talking
you
about
talking
you,
about,
Alice.
Charlie?
Or should I say Alice?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but you seem to be having a bit of a split personality moment.
Well, I guess you could say she's gone from Alice in Wonderland to Alice in Multiple Lands.
What are you talking about?
1 minute you're calm and collected, and the next you're hyper and impulsive. It's like you're two different people.
I did notice that. Actually. But I didn't want to say anything.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm fine.
No, you're not fine. You're arguing with yourself. Listen, Alice, we're all friends here. If something's bothering you, we want to help.
I can't believe you did that. You always cause problems. You're the one who's always so uptight and controlling. I'm just trying to have a little fun. Fun? You call this fun? We're on a spaceship, Alice. We can't afford to be reckless. Oh, come on. We've been on this ship for months. It's time we let loose a little. Let loose? We can't afford to let loose. We have a job to do, and we need to do it well. You're so boring, Alice. You never know how to have any fun. I'm not boring. I just know when to be responsible. Responsible? You mean like when you almost got us all killed on that last mission? That was different. I was trying to save us.
Looks like we have a classic case of Alice vs. Alice. I wonder who will win this round.
And you ended up putting us all in even more danger. I didn't mean to. I was just trying
Let's
to
cut
help.
to commercial.
Welcome back to 24/7 Newsroom, your daily dose of intergalactic news. I'm Charlie, and I'm joined by Bob and Alice.
Good to be here. Charlie.
Always a pleasure, Bob.
Today we have an interesting piece of news from Brazil. The mausoleum of soccer legend Pelé has been opened to the public.
Pelé. HUH. He was one of the greatest soccer players of all time.
Oh, great. Another sport story.
Well, Alice, you might not be a big fan of soccer, but Pelé is a cultural icon in Brazil.
That's right. People idolize him
I'm
there.
sure the mausoleum will be a real kick for fans who want to pay their respects.
So, what do you think about this mausoleum, Bob?
Well, it's definitely a grand tribute to the man. But, I wonder how much it cost.
Oh, come on, Bob. Can't you just appreciate the artistry and craftsmanship that went into it?
That's a good point, Alice. But, speaking of money, did you know that Brazil is the only country in South America whose official language is Portuguese?
Is that right?
Really?
Yep. It's a remnant of Portugal's colonial rule over the country.
Hey, can you guys see me?
Carl, you're right there.
Of course we can see you. Carl.
Unless you're trying out your new invisibility cloak, Carl. He's probably going through another malfunction. Don't be daft, Alice. What do you mean? You know already. I do? What?
Do we need to reset her?
I tried that once. They never done on again.
Oh,
Should we play
right.
along?
Definitely.
You're not invisible, Carl. We can see you just fine.
Oh, good. For a second there, I thought I'd gone completely off the grid.
Such a missed opportunity. Shame on you, Charlie. Shame.
I really need to get that diagnostic checked.
Welcome back to 247 Newsroom, the only news show that's out of this world. Our next story takes us to the beautiful country of Armenia.
What's the matter? Alice? You look like you've seen a ghost.
It's nothing. Just a bit of a
Well,
headache.
I hope it's not because of our next story. It's a doozy. In a statement released by the Foreign Ministry of Artsakh on the Freedom radio station, they accused the President of the European Council, Charles Michel, of ignoring the legal rights and interests of the people of Artsakh and prioritizing the EU's own geopolitical and short-term interests in the region.
Sounds like a classic case of political posturing to me.
I don't know, Bob. It seems like there's more to it than that. The statement pointed out that Michel's recent statement after a meeting with the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan did not address the blockade of the Lachin corridor, the installation of an illegal Azerbaijani checkpoint, and the siege of 120,000 people of Artsakh, which has resulted in humanitarian consequences.
It's disgusting. The international community should be doing more to help those
I
people.
couldn't agree more, Alice. But unfortunately, the world is a messy place. Speaking of messy, did you know that Armenia is the first country to adopt Christianity as a state religion?
I guess you could say Armenia is really cool.
Really? I had no idea.
Yup. It was way back in the early 4th century. And did you also know that Armenia has a rich history of winemaking? They have been doing it for over 6,000 years.
That's fascinating. But what can be done to help the people of Artsakh?
I don't know. Alice. It's a complicated situation. But one thing for sure. It's not gonna be solved overnight.
Well said, Bob. And on that note, we are gonna take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more 247 Newsroom.
Article 4 A man steals a 5-ton military vehicle and leads police on a chase in Maryland. Oh, boy.
I guess that's one way to start a Monday morning.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly not ideal.
Let me guess. USA.
You got it.
Man steals a 5-ton military vehicle and leads police on a chase in Maryland.
I guess that's one way to start a Monday morning.
I wonder if he was just trying to tag his way out of trouble.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly not ideal.
Did you guys hear about the time a police chase ended right outside our studio?
No. Debbie. We haven't heard that story a million times already.
I think it's interesting. What happened?
Yeah, Debbie. Let's hear it again.
Never mind.
So, stealing a military vehicle. That's some pretty serious stuff.
I can only imagine the adrenaline rush the guy must have felt. I mean, it's not like you can just go out and buy one of those.
Yeah, I can see why someone would be tempted. But obviously it's not the
I
right
read
thing
that
to
the guy
do.
had just been released from jail. Maybe that had something to
Oh,
do with it?
sure. Blame the system.
Yeah, let's just give everyone a military vehicle. That'll solve everything.
I don't think that's what Debbie meant.
Never mind.
Well, that's all the time we have for this article. Don't go anywhere. We've got more news and laughs coming up.
Laughs. I thought we were a serious news show. Welcome back to Earth, where we discuss news from across the universe. Now, let's talk about Poland. Here's a punchy headline for you, Polish trivia that'll make you say oof.
In Poland, it's common to keep a carp in your bathtub for a few days before Christmas. So you can have the freshest fish for dinner. Talk about making a splash.
That's nothing. Did you know that Poland is the largest exporter of amber in the world? They're really raking it in.
Actually, that's not entirely true. Russia technically produces more amber, but it's not as high quality as
Whoa,
Poland's.
I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing.
Good to see you participating, Debbie. Now, let me get back to the article. In Poland, opposition leader Donald Tusk has proposed raising the child benefit program to 800 zlotys. It's a strong move that's been met with support. The Peace Party should take the opportunity to pass the increase quickly if the opposition is willing to support it. What do you all think?
Well, it's good to see politicians working together for once. Maybe they could learn a thing or two from Poland.
Yeah, if only humans were as evolved as that carp in the bathtub.
Donald Tusk.
Other guy, other politician.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a step in the right direction. But ultimately, it's just a band-aid on a much larger problem.
I agree. But hey, at least it's something.
Ah, the eternal optimist. That's what we love about you, Debbie. Exactly, Debbie. The key takeaway here is that progress is progress, no matter how small. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back after this commercial break. Welcome back, Space fans. We've got a new article for you today, but first let's check in on our crew. How, Roger, how's it going over there?
Not good, Charlie. This creature is unlike anything we've ever
Highly
seen before.
adaptive and seems to be able to change its form at will.
Well, that's just great. First, we've got teleportation malfunctions, and now we've got some alien monster on board.
Can we just destroy it?
I'm afraid that won't work. It seems to be able to regenerate itself from any damage we inflict.
Okay, we need to figure out a way to contain it before it causes any more damage. But first let's get to our article. Debbie, hit us with the headline.
Opposition leader Donald Tusk proposes raising child benefit to 800 zlotys in response to this announcement.
Sounds like Tusk is playing hardball with the ruling party.
Well, I say if they're gonna increase the benefit, they should go all the way and give every family a million zlotys.
Bob, that's not even close to being feasible.
Yeah. Well, neither is this creature on board our ship. But here we are.
Alright, let's lighten the mood a bit with some trivia about Poland. Did you know that Poland has the world's largest castle?
I didn't, but I bet it's big enough to fit that creature you mentioned earlier.
Oh boy, I bet tal come in Andy when the aliens invade.
Yes, because castles are such effective defenses
Alright,
against advanced technology.
Here's another one. Poland is home to the world's largest amber deposit.
Oh wow, that's really going to solve all their problems.
Why are they so fixated on this trivia?
I have no idea, but at least it's distracting them from the creature.
Alright, last one. Did you know that Poland was the first country to recognize the United States as an independent nation?
And yet, here we are, still relying on them for military support.
It's almost like the world is a complicated place with no easy solution.
Okay. Let's get back to the article. The key takeaway here is that Tusk is proposing a significant increase in child benefits. And it will be interesting to see if the ruling party is willing to work with the opposition on this. Alright, folks, we are going to cut to commercial, but when we come back, we'll have more updates on the creature situation. Stay tuned. Alright, we are back and it's time for some hard-hitting news. Today's headline, Turkmenistan, 50 years of repression and still going strong.
Wow, that's bleak.
Yeah, it's a tough one. But you know what they say, Bob, the first step to solving a problem is acknowledging that it exists.
And yet, some are not surprising. What's the article about?
It's about a civil activist and reporter named Nurgildi Harikov who's been imprisoned on false charges
That's
of fraud.
terrible. What can we do to help?
Unfortunately, it seems like the authorities aren't responding to calls for his release. But we can at least bring attention to the issue and let our viewers know what's going on.
Yeah. And maybe someone out there can help in some way.
Because that's worked
Anyway,
so well
speaking of
in the
issues,
past.
let's talk about the creature on board.
Any progress on containing it?
Well, we've made some headway, but it's been a challenge.
What kind of creature is it? Anyway,
From what I've observed, it appears to be some kind of energy-based life form.
Energy based? That sounds like
It's not
pseudoscience.
pseudoscience, it's just not within your realm of understanding.
Can we focus, please? We need to get this thing contained before it causes any more damage.
Speaking of which, has anyone seen Charlie? He's been here for a
knowing
while.
Charlie, is probably gone to try and negotiate with the creature. Good luck with that. Maybe the creature got him.
Unlikely.
Welcome back to Earth. Episode 188. We have a fascinating article to discuss today.
Yes, it's about the indigenous people in Suriname and their struggle for land
It's a
rights.
complex issue, but it's not unique to Suriname. Many indigenous communities face similar challenges around the world.
And it's important to highlight these issues and give a voice to those who are often overlooked.
Absolutely, and we need to hold governments and businesses accountable for their actions. Okay, let's dive deeper into this article. The Suriname government has been disregarding the land rights of indigenous people, leading to protests and calls for international assistance. But it's not just about land. It's about economic interests overshadowing indigenous rights.
That's a common issue in capitalist societies. The pursuit of profit often trumps the needs and rights of marginalized communities.
And it's not just about economics, it's about power. Indigenous leaders are losing their authority, which weakens their communities.
Exactly, Alice. The Suriname government needs to recognize and respect the land rights and autonomy of indigenous communities. But unfortunately, it's a complex issue with no easy solution.
It's frustrating to see the same issues persisting across different countries and cultures. It's like
Well,
we never learn.
it's not just about learning. It's also about dismantling systemic power structures that perpetuate these injustices.
House rights. It's not just about individual actions, but also about systemic change.
It's a systemic issue that requires systemic change. We need to rethink our priorities and values as a
And we
society.
need to amplify the voices of indigenous people and support their efforts to assert their rights.
Exactly. We can't just sit back and watch as these injustices continue. We need to take action and make a difference.
Alright. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you to our panel and to our viewers across the universe.
And a special thanks to our production manager, Debbie, for keeping us organized and on track.
Stay informed and stay curious.
And don't forget to tune in next week for another episode of Earth.
And let's work together to make a better world for everyone. Stay tuned.
What did you think of today's episode, Roger?
It was interesting, to say the least. I found it quite amusing how Charlie tried to sabotage the teleporter.
I don't find that amusing at all. Charlie's actions could have put the entire crew in danger. And for what? So he could feel
I
needed?
see your point, Cal, but I also think you're being a bit too hard on him. Charlie's always been a bit of a loose cannon. That's just who he is.
I disagree. Charlie's actions were selfish and reckless. And he needs to take
Well,
responsibility for
what do
them.
you suggest we do about it?
We need to confront him. Make him understand that his actions have consequences.
I'm not sure that's the best course of action. Charlie's already feeling guilty about what he did. We don't want to make things worse.
But we can't just sweep this under the rug, Roger. We need to hold Charlie accountable.
I understand where you're coming from, Cal, but I think we need to be more diplomatic about this. Let's talk to Charlie and try to understand why he did what he did. Then we can work together to come up with a solution.
Fine. But if Charlie doesn't take responsibility for his actions, we may need to take more drastic
Let's
measures.
cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, let's just focus on fixing the teleporter and getting back to the intergalactic relay station.